Good morning to all of you.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I think we can get started now. It's already 11. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Professor Satyanarayana. Good morning, Dr. Rajesh Khambayat. Good morning, all the professors and the teachers and the trainers who have joined us on this very important occasion on the eve of Teachers' Day 2021. We are really happy to conduct this small session. It's a short one, and we would request all of you to stick to the time limit that we have decided for the speakers, and then we can have a good discussion, and everybody gets a good opportunity to speak about the topics that you have identified. So we are this particular webinar we are hosting in the backdrop of several challenges which vocational teachers, teachers in the higher education segment, or trainers who are a part of any skill development program have been going through because of the pandemic, the after effects of the pandemic, which has pushed most of us to adopt technology, to adopt digital education and training. So in this backdrop, we wanted to understand about the experiences of few teachers. We are using the word teachers generically here to refer to the trainers as well, just to make it easy for all of us. So we would like to hear from you because you are the pillars. You give us the strength to conduct any program. We might have the most beautiful infrastructure. I request all of you to be on mute, please. Please be on mute. Yeah. So as I was saying, teachers are the pillars of any educational or skilling endeavor anywhere in the world. And we might have the best of the infrastructure, we might have the best of the technology, we might have everything best. But what if the teacher or the trainer or the faculty member, as we say, is not able to conduct a certain program? Everything will collapse. And if things are happening to a certain degree, to a certain level in India today in various programs, it's because of all of you. So congratulations to everyone in this profession. We respect your contribution. We have high regards for what you are doing in this particular domain and grooming the young people to either make them employable or just make them good human beings. So let's get started by inviting Professor B.S. Satyanarayana, followed by Dr. Rajesh Khambayat. Sir, I would like both of you to reflect on the theme of this webinar, which is about digital education, skilling, and the changing role of teachers and trainers. I request you to speak for about 7 to 10 minutes, and then Dr. Rajesh Khambayat can take it over, reflect on the views, or contribute his own ideas. Dr. B.S. Satyanarayana is the Vice Chancellor of V Raman Global University, where he is heading several programs and guiding a lot of people, mentoring several staff members, and taken many initiatives in combining skills with education in the higher education segment. And Dr. Rajesh Khambayat is the director of PSSCIVE Bhopal. Dr. Khambayat is leading this very important institution for vocational teacher education and training in India. And he is somebody who's the face of vocational teacher education in India. So, sir, you can follow with the ideas expressed by Dr. Satyanarayana. Sir, please take over from here. Sir, you're on mute, sir. We are not able to hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Am I audible now?
yeah, yeah.
Yes, thank you. So first of all, thank you, Madam Madhuri, for giving us an opportunity under this National Skill Network to share some of our thought. As you rightly mentioned, this is a huge task the whole country is, grappling with. And we all know that we are in the middle of the knowledge economy. Knowledge life cycles are reduced by half, product cycles reducing even faster. And therefore, when we are talking of learning, again, linking vocational and conventional learning, because the new education policy clearly states that there is no distinction. They all have to merge together, because at the pace at which technology is changing, I cannot, without having knowledge, competence or skill, cannot develop new things, in thin air. So both have to happen. At this point, I just want to, not that I want to digress, but say that, see, we don't have to romanticize our past, but for over 2000 years, we were world leaders in knowledge and skill. Our pedagogy was student centric. In the same ashrama, the teacher and the student were having experiential learning, but different students would go out at different times, and they would be simultaneously learning anything from astronomy to astrophysics, Ayurveda to, agriculture, medical to meditation, and all things happening parallelly, and then getting expertise in their area of interest. So somewhere this multidisciplinary approach, knowledge and skill coming together through experiential learning leading to competence, is lost. And somehow we have created vocational education as something downgraded, and it's irrelevant, or we have not made it aspirational. So, and therefore even the teachers don't understand that if I have to be a good teacher, I need to, I cannot teach riding or cricket or cycling or anything without also being roughly aware. I need not be as good as the student, but I should be aware both of the theory and the practice to a certain extent, even to do correction. So therefore the key is teachers, whether you are a trainer has to have, he cannot be just mechanical. He needs to know both the skill and also some amount of fundamentals to excite the student to opportunities. The teacher has to know the knowledge in detail and also know about the skill to link it as to how they can do or guide him to a right person to do some activity. And therefore this teacher and the trainers roles are sort of completely now merged. It cannot be independent of each other. Whether we like it or not, from the time of Ekalavya, we had, distant learning and people getting skill and knowledge together through online and offline combined. And today, post-COVID, it is mandatory that it has to be combined, and we cannot wish it away. And therefore, it calls for a huge pedagogical change that the teacher or the trainer has to understand, that say they have to first learn system and design thinking, time management. How do they manage their time between teaching, engaging student in activities, and also administrative and assessment and delegating tasks to student, and more importantly, be fast to adapt to the dynamic change of digital tools. Unfortunately, the life cycle of digital tools are very short, and nor can we all afford everything. Anyway, there is no one shoe fit all. Each student has a different pace of learning, and therefore the teachers have an unenviable task of getting to know about the digital technology also, even along with the knowledge that they are delivering, and the skills that they're delivering. So it's a huge ask from the teacher, and therefore they have to get out of their diffidence or inability to work with the digital tools. This is one of the next, time management, fast learning of digital tool, diffidence to learn it and say I can manage just like they're talking in the class. That has to go from the teacher, because that's a major problem. And then of course they need to, even more important, understand how do we assess, because finally whether practical and theory and online, offline, assessment is the key to see whether the learning has happened. And therefore all the teaching and learning process has to be designed for outcomes and with assessment metrics built in to see that you assess every aspect of a multidisciplinary capability for whatever one is doing. As we are saying, suppose I say today a doctor is doing a medical surgery and he is doing telemedicine. See, he needs to know computation, he needs to have cognitive ability to work with haptics and robotics. He is sitting somewhere and simultaneously he is doing his heart surgery for a student, person in Andaman Nicobar, or let us say in Ladakh. Then see, he is to do a 2 or 3 centimeter or few millimeters of incision with a few centimeters of knife, and he is looking at a 100-inch screen, but the dimension he has to do, so the amount of cognitive ability that the teacher has to have, or what he has to communicate to the student to learn, is mind-blowing. So this integrated approach, and to convey how, I mean, it's multitasking at a very huge level, has to be very clear to the teacher, and they should be able to, and this cannot be forced. They need to therefore create the joy of learning. And when the digital education links with the conventional education, one of the biggest problem is we are not seeing the student. I mean, we are not very clear. There are no verbal clues or physical clues, which normally I would get in a class, which would be easy to respond to, saying their level of, interest or uninterest, looking at their fidgetry process. This does not happen. So, and anyway, we will not have access to all the tools. So this continuous upgrading and also exciting the student to keep on doing it is a huge, I think, challenge for a teacher. And as I said, today, the teacher is in a most unenviable job. Typically, a teacher or a trainer, I would say, has about 25 to 30 jobs that they have to do before they deliver a class. And therefore, they need to be very, very sure that, say, they bring in huge amount of learning on their own, both with the subject and the practice, and equally know about the tools that have to be done, and develop competence to assess effectively. And all this has to therefore happen with adaptability, clear knowledge of technical issues, emerging opportunities in the domain, computational knowledge, and, as I said in the very beginning, time management. And even more important, avoid distractions, because when you are delivering a class, it is very limited and it is easy for the student to get distracted. Avoid distraction, see that the student get interested, and there has to be a clear do list for both the teacher and the student, so everybody knows how we are progressing. And even more important, the teacher has to be willing to seek help, because many of the time what is happening is, whether it's a trainer or a teacher, they don't seem to seek help. I mean, they think, I mean, it will be discredit for me if I don't. There's so many things are happening. So let me be clear that, see, we will never know everything. We are all expert in something. We are learning something. And especially at the pace at which knowledge life circles are changing, this is a very exciting time. So we should be open, and we should be the first person to say, I don't know, I'm willing to learn this. So if that doesn't happen, I think the teacher delivery will be, these are the challenges I would say a teacher face. And they have to, I mean, also be careful not to too much of multitask and lose everything. When the time management is happening, even when I say parallel processing, actually somewhere in computation, it is a sequential process. So they need to make sure that, I mean, they have clearly defined what they want, how they want to do, and that it has to happen in a very sequential way. And more importantly, as we said, therefore come out of the 18th century. As we said, we had a great education system, knowledge and skill was happening. People, see, we had a complete sustainable living. I mean, villages, cities had a way of, today whole world says sustainable living, when all our cities and towns were sustainable in itself. So therefore, adopt the latest technology, also be aware of what was in the past, learn the two, create the joy of learning in the class, and create the excitement of learning, because no other time has, I mean, in the next 5 to 10 years, we have a unique opportunity. 10 years before, we didn't have this opportunity, but now we have a unique opportunity to truly be creating knowledge, not just advocacy or teaching something, working with the student, take his excitement and passion, link my excitement and passion with design thinking, system thinking, making sure every project, every assignment is win-win, that both of us learn and we also create something, because finally knowledge has to, in whatever domain, it has to lead to some useful outcomes. So that has to be part of the plan. And as above all, make sure we create the joy of learning and showcase the excitement of opportunity. I think teacher can truly excel, and it will be mind-blowing opportunities which was never there. But for all of this, as I said from the very beginning, teacher has to change his mindset. And so whether it is vocational education, whether it is conventional education, whether it is digitalized, it is even more student-centric, because in digital, I can anytime put off and then come back when I want to. So the teacher has to be clear, there cannot be one shoe fit all. I need to address the student, keep his excitement, whether he comes independently to me or whether I'm sitting in the class. So it's an unenviable task, but also a great opportunity for us to truly create exciting things, both in terms of employability for students, product process development, to entrepreneurship and research. So I hope the teachers change their mindset and leverage and lose this thought process that vocational education is something only for technicians or somebody who doesn't know anything, but that It has to be seamlessly integrated. So knowledge and skill come together, leading to, experiential learning to competence, competence leading to more understanding. And from the understanding, we are going into research, innovation, product, process development, to even possibly entrepreneurship, and a win-win collaboration for teacher and student, with again making sure learning is a joy. Both the teacher and the student have to enjoy, and experiential learning and linking vocational and theory is one of the best way to do that. And I'm sure, we hope we all take this opportunity and look at transforming. And once again, India becomes a leader that it was for over thousands of years and just lost out for about 80, 90 years. So once again, we have an opportunity, and only when we bring in the respect for vocational education, link them with knowledge, it will happen. I wish all the best to teachers as we are going towards the Teachers' Day. Thanks for having me here and allowing me to share some of my thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for enlightening us with your ideas, and also some action points that you mentioned, which are very critical for teacher development, for faculty development in today's scenario as things are changing. We are also live on YouTube now. I welcome everyone who's watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much for the continuous support to our YouTube channel. It means a lot to us. So please be there, watch all the teachers speak as we go ahead. After Dr. Rajesh Khambayat, we have 3 panels with teachers. One set of teachers are representing schools. Next set of teachers are representing technical training, and the school teachers are representing school training, school level vocational training from different parts of India. We have 5 of them who are going to speak today. Then we have 3 teachers who are representing technical training. They are from NTTF, followed by professors who are from V Raman Global University. They are representing the higher education. So we have put it in this order: school, technical training, and then higher education. And the idea behind this is also to convey that today in India, because of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship and Ministry of Education coming closer, there is a huge signal that skills and higher education, vocational education and mainstream education are coming closer. So on that note, I invite Dr. Rajesh Khambayat to share his views. So please tell us more about your views on the topic today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Madhuri Dubey. First of all, good morning, everyone. I hope I am loud enough.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you have about 8 to 10 minutes. So sorry.
Yeah. So, first of all, respected Dr. Satyanarayan sir, the Vice Chancellor of V Raman Global University, Madam Dr. Madhuri Dubey, and most importantly, our distinguished speakers this morning. At the outset, I extend my warm greetings to each one of you for a Teachers' Day. So a very happy and joyful Teachers' Day. I think we are all where we are today. It is because of our teachers, and we owe a lot to our teachers. So we are like a product of our teachers only. That's how I look at it. Our thinking, your personality, your way of performing, everything what you are trying to do is a reflection of the kind of teachers you have been associated with you. And we are all blessed in our life in different forms, starting from school to higher education. And there are hundreds of teachers who have been instrumental in shaping us what we are today. Allow me to share a short presentation with you to share my thoughts today on this occasion. Can you please confirm me if you can see this?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine. So I'll be very short because our time is very limited. So I will just go quickly. I think you have already highlighted that this COVID pandemic has really impacted the education across the world. And this is one of the recent statistics which highlight that 1.38 billion people have been impacted, particularly the students have been impacted from school to higher education because the schools were closed because of COVID-19. So we are going through a very important and a very transition phase in education. So learning continuity is another challenge. There are millions of students who have been dropped out from the school because of this COVID-19. Now, during this pandemic, we have also seen that teachers were the real heroes who have tried their level best in spite of their limitations of many factors are there, maybe on a personal level, maybe on technology, maybe on infrastructural and all that. But each one of them have been so committed. They are true heroes to ensure that our children are having minimum learning continuity gap and they maintain the education that is what is required for our beautiful country. I'll be very brief in this short presentation. I'll be little talking about background, then we are talking about digital education and scaling. So we'll examine some trends and what are the key benefits which we are able to derive. And we will also examine in Indian context, what are the realities and what are the challenges before us. And lastly, one or two, what initiatives my institution has taken and finally the way forward and all that. I think we all are now aware of by this time that our new National Education Policy 2020 strongly advocate about India's vision being the world leader in the 21st century. And I think you all agree with me that it cannot be realized without an education system that keeps an abreast with the needs of our future citizens and particularly the young students. In this sphere, I think teachers, as I mentioned earlier, teachers are one of the most influential and the most powerful force for equity, for access, and most importantly, the quality in education, and also to realize the key aspect of sustainable development goal 4.0. I think there is no disagreement that education and skills are root for our better go. Our modern society rests on the pillar of education and skill. It is the best investment India can make for helping our people, helping our economy, helping our society. And it is becoming the master key to move from the school or education to the world of work, to seek better jobs or better opportunities, better prospect, and ultimately to succeed in their life, professional life and all that. Now, the question as we move forward in 21st century, so what kind of education will look like in the future? So that we have to look when we talk about digital education and skilling in the post-COVID-19 situation, and how technology is evolving to meet the needs of our students, faculty, including the administration, and most importantly, how can teacher enable students to be successful into the education, what they are receiving at different phases of their life. So the first point I would like to highlight is, as rightly said by Dr. Satyanarayan sir also, so the dynamics of skills and education is changing very fast. If you look at here, the traditional form of skills, the routine manual skills are diminishing. In fact, non-routine and more non-routine cognitive are the higher ups, like creativity, problem solving, decision making. These skills, creativity, these skill sets are becoming more prominent as we move from industry 3.0 to 4.0. So a new dynamics and a new dimension to skill and education is coming. We have to also understand that the average shelf life of a skill is less than 5 years. So what we are teaching today to our student, so by the time they graduate, you will find that most of the knowledge and skill they have gained is not relevant to the job market or to the world of work. And I think here comes the role of the teachers, because teacher has to instill the skills of lifelong learning. And if they can instill these particular skills among the student, it can play a very significant role for the students to continue their journey in the world of work and all that. Now, while doing this, the teacher also understands too that we have a different set of learners today. When you were a student, when I was a student, we were all together of a different generation students. But now the kind of learners in front of you are totally different, because this young generation who belongs to this generation Z are digitally literate than many of us at that particular age. They are totally always on mobile, always on internet. They're always ready to experiment and all that. And most importantly, they are living in a social network, always staying connected with this one. So this kind of generation who has easy access to information. So the role of teachers, as rightly said, it is entirely changing. It is not only the knowledge dispenser. In fact, it is becoming more learning facilitator. So please understand that your role is also changing with the time. And if you cannot accept this, it will be very difficult for us to go along with this one. Any kind of information, the teachers, student can find out on Google. So important is knowledge navigation. Important is knowledge navigation, because the world of work where we so rich, every information is there. We don't need to create a new knowledge now. Important is how to navigate in the world of knowledge across which is available to us. And in this particular context, I think 3T are going to play a very, very important role. The first is teacher, then training is going to play a very important, and then I will touch upon the technological aspect and all that one. I think we are going to discuss what are the emerging roles, particularly in the context of skill development. I think important, there are 4 major roles the teacher can play. First is creating the awareness among the student, the significance of the skills in our life, because 80% of the job requires some kind of skill today. So this awareness can be very well played by the teacher when he educates our students. Second important thing is the teacher must promote the advocacy for skills. And this is very, very important. A country like us, where only 5% of the young generation have been equipped with vocational education, it is a high time that teacher can play a very vital role on promoting its advocacy across the different sectors and across the different spheres of education and all that. The next role I feel is the attainment. We are talking about competency-based education, learning outcome education and all that. So the teacher role is also to ensure that the students attain all those things, competencies which are desired by the world of work. And finally, the assessments, the certification is very, very important to ensure that whatever learning has taken, whether it has really resulted in achieving the desired learning outcome, is also a very significant role for the teachers and all that. So the second aspect is training, and we have to understand there is a great shift is taking place in the education and training. So from reproductive learning to productive learning, from behaviorism to constructivism, from teacher center to learner center, and from teaching center to learning facilitation center, more focused on outcome based are the major shift which are taking place very rapidly in the sphere of education and training. Now, the third last aspect is technology is changing our entire landscape. The way we live, the way we play, the way we work, and the way we study, everything is driven by technology. In fact, we are living in such a world, our days start with technology, it ends with technology. Even we have a technology which monitors us, how good sleep you had tonight. So the technology is governing every aspect of our life. And I think education is also one, and our work is also very important where technology is there. During this pandemic, we have realized technology was the only vital tool which helped us to, reduce the learning continuity should be maintained, and technology has helped us. So it helps us to ensure that students have education anywhere, anytime, anymore, always on, better access, saving on cost, focusing on learner, better learning outcome, faster response time, and all those things I think you are. So because of this technological intervention, now the expectations of our student from the teacher are going to rise. Flexibility in shaping the new ways of delivering the programs and courses are coming in a big way. Outcome-based learning and growing, the requirement is changing very fast. So technology is helping us to see new approaches to the pedagogy. One of the important platform is the MOOC platform. And this is going to give us a new opportunity for expanding the education sphere in our India for the diverse learners and all that. As I see the future in the near coming years, there are 8 major trends which I feel is going to play a very important role in the digital education and particularly in the skill development. So we started with PC, the traditional PC and so from PC centeredness, we are going to go for the ambient intelligence, dynamic mentoring system, experience-based learning into the classroom. We are already seeing simulations and all already taking place. So the entire focus will be on professional learning for work. From courseware, now we are going to shift to the performanceware. From normal learning resources to digital and adaptable to the individual needs. ICT will slowly become more personalized. So from e-learning to M-learning to U-learning, that is ubiquitous learning, is going to take place in a very big shape in our digital education. And most importantly, our e-learning is going to support the collaborative learning and all that one. But when I see locally, these are all happening, but what is the ground reality in India? You will see that as far as vocational education is concerned, you will see a very uneven growth across the different states in India. We have developed and developing state union territories which coexist in offering vocational education program. We do not have a uniform vocational education quality in India. There are many providers, private institution, public institution, NGOs, all are offering vocational education program. And the last most important is we still exist in a society where there is a strong biases towards vocational education and training. So these are the realities the teacher has to overcome in day-to-day life. The another issue is when we talk about digital education, the first is, we are having one set of teachers who are digital immigrants, but the student who are entering into the class are already digital natives because they are born and brought up into this world of internet. So this is a major challenge in adopting digital education into skill education space. The another issue is on one side, we have very experienced teacher and we have very young teachers. Experienced teachers are very good in subject and domain knowledge, but lacks technological access and technological usage. Whereas young teachers are very good in technology, but lacks the competence or the content expertise and all that. So I think it's a time that we need to have a good harmony between these experienced teachers and new teachers who coexist into the system and all that. Because, adopting technology has a different notion. If you look at the teacher, how they fear in adopting the technology, and you will see that the first question there is, how do I make this work? How do I avoid looking like an idiot? And they will know more about this than I do. Because the student have access to all kind of information. The teacher have a fear that if he or she adopts something from Google or any other resources, the student will are bound to come to know where he or she has got this information and all that. This is the fear in the minds of the teacher, but the student look at it. Students are looking for a different priority when in terms of using technology. They are bothered about the access to network. They are access to, connectivity. They are worried about the battery of the mobile or handsets and all that. So in order to overcome all these things, very important is that we need to build capacity of our vocational teachers and trainers, because there is absence of awareness about the digital new technologies and digital tools which are available for the teachers across India. Infrastructure and resources are still, hampering our growth of digital education, particularly in vocational education. We need motivation and support. We need encouragement and recognition for the teachers who are doing wonderful job in adopting the digital education in the skill development and all that. Last but not the least is the funding issues and all that. Let me end up with this. PSSCIVE is one of the important body in India which looks after the vocational education and training. In order to streamline our effort on vocationalization of school education, we come up with two major interventions right now. The first one is we have developed a standard framework for vocational pedagogy for the teachers. The purpose of coming up with a framework on vocational pedagogy is that at the moment, we do not have any framework for vocational teachers. Teacher education is concerned. There are a number of states who are also conducting program, but there is no uniformity. So through this pedagogy framework, we would like to ensure that this framework can be adopted by DIET, by SCRTs, and this will standardize and uniform our approach for preparing our teachers for the 21st century. You'll be pleased to know that very soon we are going to launch a certificate program in vocational pedagogy, and it will be online program. So we are working on the modalities, and very soon you will get to know about this. So it is a national program. The last important is, we have also launched a long-term program, which is known as Diploma in Vocational Education and Training. It's a distance come contact mode program. We have already finished 3 batches. Now the 4th batch is going to take place. We already have full admission for the current batches, which is just recently admitted. And the response which tells me that yes, states are interested, teachers are interested in their professional development and all that. As we move on to the near future, I think 3 things we have to always keep it when we look at the future education, digital education and skill training system. First thing we have to, as a teacher, we have to always remember it has to be very flexible now. It has to be highly differentiated. And last but not the least, it also needs to be cost-effective solution for a country like us. So with these words, thank you once again for your good attention to this delivery. And I hope to look forward to your observations and questions. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, sir. As we say, when we request the leaders to speak, leaders who are leading big organizations, as it happened with the inaugural session, where we had Professor Satyanarayana and Dr. Rajesh Khambayat, it's very difficult to tell them, look, we have a time limit and you have to speak within this time limit, because they come with so much of experience. There are so many points they wish to share. As Dr. Rajesh Khambayat was highlighting so many aspects about professional vocational education and training. And as I was saying, it's difficult to cut it short into 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I would request all the people who are watching us, all the participants, and also the speakers, if you wish to connect with him and learn more about whatever he is saying, please feel free to connect with PSSCIVE Bhopal. And as Dr. Satyanarayana was also highlighting so many aspects of teacher education and teacher development in his inaugural session, if you wish to have a dialogue with him, please reconnect with him. We'll be very happy to further these conversations with everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for being there in the inaugural session. Now we go ahead with the other panelists. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we have divided into 3 panels. The first panel is from the school level, that is represented by school teachers. And this is the order in which I would request the teachers to speak. First, it would be Ms. Prashanti, followed by Mr. Martin, then Neha, and then Aarti, and then followed by Pragat. So in this order, we will have these, we will request them to share their stories. The interesting thing about this panel is that we have invited these teachers not so much to make them speak with any slides or presentations or thing. We didn't want it to be very formal. We want them to be informal and share their story from their heart about what it means to be a vocational teacher or a trainer. Why did they make this career choice? How is their career progressing in the backdrop of the challenges we have been facing with technology adoption? As Dr. Rajesh Khambayat has brought out so many points about technology adoption. Sir, I think these are the teachers who will be sharing their live experiences from what you just told us. So I invite first Ms. Prashanti, who is a vocational trainer in electronics and hardware. She's from Puducherry. Then we have Mr. Martin, who is a vocational trainer from Kerala. Then we have Neha Shiva, trainer in beauty and wellness from Bhopal. Aarti Upadhyay, who is a vocational trainer in retail management from Bhopal. Last, we have Mr. Pragat Naik, who is the instructor in retail from Goa. So let's go ahead. Let's get started by inviting Ms. Prashanti. You have 3 minutes, Prashanti, to tell us briefly about the experiences that you've had.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall I start now?
Yes, please do. Please do.
Respected Joint Director, Professor Satyanarayanan sir, respected professors, and my dear friends. I feel that I'm honored to share my views in this August occasion being celebrated on account of Teachers' Day. The status of a country primarily rests upon the availability of resources. The status of a country rests and other minerals, metals have made many countries to enjoy the prosperity. India too has plenty of resources. The most among the resources is human resources. The physical resources like petroleum, minerals are unifaceted. They have only one phase of utility. The human resources is multifaceted. Human resources may be doctors, human resources may be engineers, human resources may be teachers, and so on. But a mere count of humans cannot be considered as a human resources. It will just be a mere population and burden and an eternal liability for a country. Only imparting skills, knowledge, and its application will transform a mere population as a demographic dividend. Today, the world needs India. The India which is young, the India which is contributive, the India which is transforming. And Mahakavi Bharati said, Ellorum Amaranilai Eidum Nan Murayai India Ulagukku Alikum. Amam, India Ulagukku Alikum. Which means only it will be India which will offer eternal bliss to the entire world. Now, this fact is evident in the manner through which India is fighting Corona and helping the whole world in this process. My dear friends, the world has certain points in this history which could be termed as vantage points of history. Till the year 1750, that is before the British took over us, India and China were the leaders in the world's GDP. India and China contributed to about 75% of world's GDP. All others, including the West, contributed just remaining 25% only. This shows our population contributed for prosperity of our country and occupied the status of demographic dividend. But after 1750, after the Britishers started exploring us, our contribution to the world's GDP gradually declined, and we were just 1.5% of world's GDP in the year 1947. This fact was revealed by the research findings of eminent economic historian, Professor Angus Maddison, and all the Western nations stunned by this.
Prashanti, just sorry to interrupt. Prashanti, we would like to hear about your experience being a vocational teacher because we have a very short time limit assigned to each of the speakers. So could you please go directly to your experience being a vocational teacher?
In my experience, my school and plenty of other school students are competing to join this vocational education. The people have started understanding as a vocational teacher, we should not be a teacher as a trainer. We should be acharyas at least. And my experience as a vocational teacher in my school, I'm from rural area. In my school, the children are very interesting to join this vocational course. Most of the children have basically the practical knowledge in this electronics and hardware. Students have voluntarily came and joined in this course. Most of the children have joined my course beyond the limit actually. The parents also more interest to join in this course, and their views in vocational education was very good, and they are also encouraging the children to join this course. And one thing I want to say, the children basically when we start the children taking into the lab, the children are very much interested to do all the experiments alone with the safety precautions. Even this pandemic situation, we conducted a lot of online classes for the children the children itself doing some small experience and hands-on experience in their home itself with all safety precautions. So as my point of view, vocational education is the backbone of the country, I think so, because this vocational education will have the more opportunity for the children to gain all the practical knowledges. That's it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Prashanti. Let's hear from Mr. Martin now. You have about 3 minutes, sir. Hello. Hello, Mr. Martin. Okay, otherwise, Aarti, if you're ready, can you please go on?
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is audible.
Yeah.
Hello. Good.
Aarti, you have 3 minutes to share your
Yes.
Yeah, your experience.
Definitely. See, as for my experience, first of all, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries members and myself, Passive from Passive, Rajesh Khambaya sir, Bhimani sir, and all the dignitaries and my panelists. So, sir, as per my experience, I do have a little bit good experience. We can say that. Yes, it's a new area, new platform. We need to represent a very good skill-based learning towards our upcoming areas. As India is moving towards the Industrial Revolution 4.0, we need to take some strict actions for youth. As I'm playing role teacher, we need to have a great contribution towards it. So as we need to become a bridge towards a school education and a professional life for the students. So yes, we need to follow some of the approach for a new way of learning and making them to understand the basic requirement for industrial revolution 4.0. So yes, some of the focus area where I have focused on as to teach a student to explore in a to have some infrastructure for them. Vocational teacher, so I have to set a proper lab. So through that, they can easily connect with the actual what's exactly in what area they will going to work on. Yes, the second thing which I need to focus on, the practical focused education. I have given them a full on practical basis knowledge. I have taken them for a field visit. I have taken them for various type of industrial area. There they can easily connect with what exactly the focus area for them in the future. Likewise, I have focused on their employability skills, like how they need to manage themselves, through their self-management skill, through their management skills. So they need to learn that. So I have focused on the particular area. Likewise, some of the challenges I have also faced, I need to through these challenges, I need to focus to transform the mindset of a particular student, particular teachers, and particular we can say the whole school. So we have tried our level best to change their mindset. So because there is a huge difference between a general subjects and vocational subjects. So the teacher and the student should focus exactly what requirement we do have. So we have tried our level best to clear the main point of view, that is clearing the mindset towards towards the vocational courses they are just opting for. So yes, these were the things which I have came through with this. Yeah, apart from this, so we have tried our level best to make them clear about about the internship, what exactly they are dealing with in their future. See, as working as a vocational teacher, I'm teacher by choice, right? So
Thank you.
एग्जैक्टली हम लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा चीजों को फोकस करना है. सो बच्चों की होलिस्टिक अप्रोच पे अगर हम बहुत अच्छे से काम कर पाएंगे, सो यस, हम वोकेशनल टीचिंग से हम बहुत कुछ अचीव कर सकते हैं.
Thank
Yes,
you.
one more thing I would like to add. Yes, so yeah, it is very
Please switch
uncertainty
off
for a
your video,
vocational.
Aarti. Please
Yes,
switch
sir.
off your video. Please switch
Sorry,
off
ma'am.
your video.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I said with your video, I think you have a bandwidth problem. So I wanted you to just use the audio. Anyways,
Okay.
thank you for sharing your views and your experience.
Okay,
We can
okay.
have Neha now. Neha, are you there?
Ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah.
Ma'am, am I audible? Audible to you?
Yes, Neha, you have 3 minutes to tell us your story.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. A very warm good morning to one and all presented over here. So, thank you, ma'am, Madhuri, ma'am, for inviting me in this talk. It's my pleasure to interact with you all, and I will be happy to share my experience as a vocational teacher in demonstration multipurpose school Bhopal, which is a school of passive NCERT. My journey of become a trainer is very interesting as my higher education is MBA in HR. In spite of this, I'm not getting a good job with a good salary like my dream job. So I was doing actually nothing after doing a MBA. So I tried to learn. I thought to learn something new in that field. So I joined VLCC, and then I started. That's how I started learning skill education. That is beauty and wellness, a course of cosmetologist. Then you don't believe, just in 8 months, even my course was not completed, I got a good opportunity in a good salon. I became a manager plus a trainer at a very known salon in Bhopal. Then just after 1 year, I got another opportunity to become a trainer at demonstration multipurpose school Bhopal. So that's how I started my career to being as a vocational teacher and choose this as my career. Actually, I would like to share one more thing that as per South Korea survey, that beauty and wellness industry is the booming industry is the future. And you won't believe our curriculum and our curriculum of the beauty and wellness is designed by South Korea and VLCC, and books are developed under passive NCERT Bhopal. So even we got a very good chance, and our student got very good chance. South Korean experts come to India, come to our school DMS, and they taught us their skill, their technical skills, and we are very lucky that we are able to learn their skills. So that's how. We found that's how we found that beauty and wellness industry, it really a very booming industry in the future, and maybe you will see going to see a lots of jobs in that particular area with a good salary. And yes, when anything new is started, that time we always had a problem and we always face many challenges. So yes, I also I also faced very challenges. First, when I start doing job as a vocational trainer at school level, that time the mindset of the teacher, especially teachers, general subject teachers, parents, and the students thought that why this kind of vocational courses are introduced at school level, because there is no need of it, right? They think like that. And they thought that why this parlor saloon courses are started in a school. So when I started working there, that time I faced that kind of problem. I think that the mindset for the vocational education should be changed first, because people think that is not the subjects to learn in the school level. So that should be changed first. So I counsel them to the parents. I give a orientation program for the students, for the teacher as well, that I tell them it is not a parlor course, it is a course of cosmetology in which you can learn about the nail, hair, skin, that you are able, after doing that course, you will able to do a work on first layer of the skin. That I connected my subject with the bio subject. Thus, I taught my school, all the school students, all about the skin, hair, and nails. I'm able to work on the upper layer of the skin, and dermatologists, they are able to work on the within skin, within part of the skin, your second or third layer.
So I connect to my subject with the bio, and now the students are very interested to learn new things, and we do many things like seminar, practicals in the lab, and role plays in the lab. So they are learning new things on the daily basis, and they are very interested to opt the subject with their general subject.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for giving me such a wonderful time.
Thank you, Neha, for this very nice and interesting story about how you're making it aspirational. We move on to Pragat now. Pragat, please tell us your story in 3 minutes.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
I think that's the most question being asked from 2020 and 2021. Am I audible or not? Okay, yeah. So firstly, just before I start, good morning to everybody. Happy Teachers Day in advance to everybody. Uh, I I really don't know what to speak right now, because what happens is I think most of us have done some skill education in their this and all that, but I totally come from a pure sciences background. I'm a BSc graduate. I graduated in this in geology, and then because of something I went to do my MBA, and I've done my MBA in marketing, and I had no teaching experience other than when I was just told to maybe do some soft skills when I was at my first job. So I ended up becoming a vocational trainer, actually, if you can say it, by mistake. And but today, right now, after being here for 7 years, I think I'm absolutely enjoying it, because the feeling of getting up and meeting students, teaching students, and absolutely giving them your 100% and motivating them, that is the most important thing happening right now. As many of us, all others have already noted, most of the last year was a very big issue for all of us, because uh, as Kambayat sir said, the current generation is they are digital natives, and some of us are still digital immigrants. So the skill gap was a lot, and students could actually move ahead more further than us in terms of what was happening and all that. So what what do I say about last year? I think most of us are going to speak the same thing. I'm just going to say, like, we really have to do we have to grow fast, as everybody has said before. Sorry. Yeah. So as everybody has said before, we need to, as instructors, and as vocational instructors especially, we need to buck up, and we need to be ahead of the curve by 5 years. I myself have been trying to do that. I'm actually keeping on applying to different online courses and all those things. I keep telling my other instructors about other courses that they can do, other colleagues also, as on all that. uh, with respect to how and everything, as a trainer, I feel is, I think my biggest achievement would be that I know that some of my students, like, retail is a field wherein some way we use it every day, but we do not speak about it every day, because retail is what just like, we see it as just going to the market and getting stuff. But when you start looking at retail as something that you learn or something that you enjoy, the students trying to understand automatically what happens. I have first generation, I have second generation, I have third generation uh, people of learners who are actually there. They have done shops and all that and all that, and they are like, they're telling their siblings that, you come, you do retail, you'll understand what is retail better, you'll understand, go to this school, go to that, go to this, or meet me. I have other courses, students also coming in and asking me what happens in retail, and if they don't like retail, I tell them to the other school. My school has electronics also, so I keep doing that. So just before I conclude and take more time, I would like to tell everybody that as we are here, as everybody has stated again, and as already even Parvati ma'am has already said, that we are today the backbone, Prashanti ma'am, sorry, we are today the backbone of education in India, and I think it is our responsibility to be ahead of everybody by at least 5 years. So we need to upskill ourselves, the first most importantly, digitally, physically, mentally also, and then and only then we can have students coming up to us and asking us, and then we'll be ready for this. Because trust me, I do feel that we are going to be here on digital learning for another at least 2 or 3 more years, and blended learning is going to be the way ahead. We have already started planning, at least in my school. I have personally started planning certain things to doing it, getting a YouTube channel and all those things, getting it done. I know everybody must have, I must be just repeating certain things that somebody will speak later on, may have already spoken about. But why I'm highlighting this is because what happens is, we as many a times, what happens is, when we get into the system, it becomes a system. We have to try to break the system, and we are the only people who can break it. Because trust me, we are teachers or trainers or instructors, whoever we are not here to promote rote learning or just gulping and learning and just vomiting it out. We are people who are actually here to give experience to students. And I think I'll conclude with that. Thank you, Madhuri ma'am, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you everyone for listening to me.
Yeah, thank you, Pragat. So we have the last person in this panel at the school level, that's Mr. Martin. So Mr. Martin, please share your experience in about 3 minutes, please, because we are
Can you hear me,
running
madam?
short of time. Yeah, we are running short of time. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, first of all, I am really thankful to Madhuri madam for doing such an initiative today. Okay, thank you, madam. Actually, now the teachers we are changing the system. Now we are going through digital platforms, digital tools. So many teachers fear there is a chance for a technological disruption, like Uber taxis disrupted the local taxi walas. So let me share one of my personal experience in this thing. Okay. Basically, I am a higher secondary school teacher, skilling commerce students. So 2 years back, I got with a very brilliant student. He joined 2 years back in the +1. He was very brilliant, but very extraordinary student. But on his exams, he was very weak in academics. On a personal counseling, he told me he accidentally joined commerce. His real passion was coding, software coding, web designing. So I told him, you shall see what's YouTube videos on web designing. There are a lot of videos on web designing. He started watching videos on web designing and the software development. After 1 year, he joined Unacademy. It's a digital platform for learning, for web design, for web development. He joined it. After 2 years, just last year, he passed out of my school. By the time he became a very professional, very fully qualified, a full stack web developer. Without even a formal qualification in web development, formal qualification in computer science, he got his job, got his career in web designing, web development. He is a developer now. So what I would like to say is, the students that sit before us, they are bundles of abilities. They are clusters of passions and aspirations. They are buffets of skills. We teachers, we may not be able to develop them fully. We may not know even how to develop them, but we can direct them to places, direct them to resources, to the mentors who can develop their potential and to be successful in life. And I think now a lot of resources are available. The teachers shall be the persons. Teachers shall develop to be mentors to direct the students to the places where they can find resources for their development, and we shall support. Okay, I think that is a new job of present day teachers. Thank you.
Yes, I think that was very brief, precise, and very clearly put about how the teacher's role is transitioning from being a teacher or a trainer to a facilitator. Very well put, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much for being there in this panel. Next, now we move on to the next panel, which is representing technical training. And here we have 3 speakers who are representing NTTF. So I would request all 3 of them to speak for about 3 minutes, sharing their experience and telling us about how technical training courses are undergoing a change when they are integrating with on-the-job training, and of course how technology is also playing an important role in delivering future skills or holistic education. Let's get started by listening to Ms. Ranjita, who's Senior Training Officer at NTTF. Welcome, Ms. Ranjita. You have about 3 minutes to share your views.
Yeah, thanks, Madhuri. Good afternoon to all. I would consider this as my privilege, and thank you for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to speak on this special occasion of Teachers' Day. Nowadays, we see many jobs or professions require digital skills. At least basic digital skill is required, because of which digital skill is gaining more importance. This current COVID-19 pandemic has affected many educational institutions worldwide, where many schools and colleges, especially in the remote areas or rural areas, are facing difficulty in conducting these online classes, assessment, and evaluation. So the schools and colleges had to shift from conventional teaching to digital education. Digital education has made learn anytime, anywhere possible. So moving from conventional teaching to digital education has changed the roles of teachers and trainers. But we at NTTF, it was easy for us to switch from conventional method of contact classes to online platform because our trainees were already equipped with laptops, digitalized contents, digital assessment, and evaluation. In addition to this, we have brought about various changes in our pedagogical practices during this pandemic. Here in NTTF, we conducted online classes using a licensed Zoom app, where only the authenticated users were allowed to attend the sessions, thereby blocking the intruders. And we made the sessions more interactive and by asking queries and creating the content in a creative and animated way so that the students won't get distracted, because in online classes, there are chances where students get distracted very easily. And also, we made use of this LMS learning management system, where all the study materials, videos related to the course, and the recorded session of online classes are available so that the student can refer it anytime, anywhere. Then examination in NTTF was digital, where both evaluation and assessment are conducted online by making use of a software called as proctoring software, which is an end-to-end online assessment tool. This online proctoring software checks the examinee's authenticity and eliminates the suspicious behavior during the exam. So this is how we at NTTF made use of these digital tools. So other than this, in NTTF, other than the regular curriculum, NTTF has also partnered with AWS and Cisco for staff and student learning enhancement, which provides scholarship for certifications, which is an add-on for both staff and students. Also, NTTF provides hands-on training for students through various means, such as students here are getting involved in design and developing of both in-house and external projects. Also, they are participating in hackathons with API of Postman Company USA. And NTTF has partnered with Sector Skill Council for offering training and certification in various qualification packs. NTTF has taken a step to join with NCC and NOC in UK to offer international level 5 diploma, which creates pathway for global education and employment. So we at NTTF have FDD, that is Faculty Development Department, which provides an opportunity so that they provide both in-house training and external training for the faculty to ensure that the faculty is upskilled and continuously trained to meet the dynamic nature of industry integrated curriculum. So thereby, I would like to conclude telling that with proper technological infrastructure and teachers upgrading themselves to learn digital skills will not only help the educational organization, but also help in socio-economical growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjita. I welcome Satish Kumar, who's Assistant Manager Training at NTTF, to share his views and his experience in about 3 minutes, please.
Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. First of all, I thank NTTF management and the organizing committee for giving me this opportunity to share my view on this occasion of Teachers' Day 2021. The world of technical education is changing. We are in the age of exposure and value addition, and it takes more than a strong academic qualification to achieve one fullest potential. Technology is everywhere, and it interlinks with our day-to-day life activities. So NTTF has given a good opportunity to establish ourselves as well as to go for these online dashboards. So before this pandemic itself, last 4 years back, we have implemented online training session, that is virtual VCS classes and all things. And it helps to connect the students in the real world, prepare the students of workforce, encouraging collaboration, support different types of learners, access information more easily. It teaches the students how to be responsible online and add a fun factor to learning, connect to multitude of resources. NTTF provides an opportunity for such learning, that is conceptual learning, skill development, mentoring, interaction with experienced teachers, industry-focused programs, skills for global competence extracurricular activities, and for personal growth. NTTF training provides the students deeply transformative experience intellectually, socially, and personally. That is what is required in this era. And NTTF training will prepare themselves for a life of good citizenship and good leadership. And that is what NTTF is doing. NTTF training is designed to prepare the students with various attributes like career and job readiness, design thinking and problem solving, technology enabled training, practical and skill oriented training, confidence and self-reliant professional skill. So whichever sector we are, as a teacher, we have to focus on delivering a holistic program and ensure the learning is happening through transformative education. So this is what I like to conclude here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Satish. Yes, Vijay Lakshmi, please share your experience in the shortest possible time and tell us about how you managed the challenges that were coming up.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, Madhuri. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pride and honor to be considered to address one and all on this auspicious day. So first, I would wish everyone a happy Teachers' Day. They say change is the only constant. During the COVID days and lockdown, we had seen huge leap in the methods and imparting education. So previous year we were novices, and now we were exploring nuances through hit and run methods of teaching. Apparently, we have realized what works best for us. Some of the positive highlights are NTTF, an educational foundation which implements its program of technical training through more than 50 training locations across India. We have identified master trainers to train across the centers through centralized sessions where we could guide and mentor many center students at the same time. It was like a total win-win for both the students and teachers. Being a technical training institution, it was really a tough time for us to deliver the practical sessions remotely. But our management supported us with a new technology and a device, that is head mounting tablet, which could give a real-time view of any experimental session. For example, if I'm in a room, I can measure how much voltage or current is passing to the particular load. It can be a fridge, fan, or any device. The same thing is being applied during the lab sessions. For example, if we are using a Megarent clamp meter, we can measure the resistance and current flowing through the wire. So in NTTF, by making use of this device, we have conducted various labs like robotics, pneumatics and hydraulics, industrial electronics, 3D printing, and many things. We had constant support from the faculty development department of NTTF, who kept upskilling us by frequent sessions and trainings on usage of these methods of training, teaching, conducting experiential sessions, then preparing and sharing of the study material, and many things. They ensured that they joined our sessions without our knowledge, just to identify corrective areas, and had come up with the new plans to make the sessions more creative and to reduce the errors. So one of the key highlights which cannot be missed is that we had the opportunity to interact with the other entity of college faculties who were continuous support during the sessions. I can never thank the management enough for being that pillar whom we could lean on and seek help at any given point of time. Some of the challenges what we had faced is one of the most easily identifiable issue was the connectivity issue of the internet. Of course, it has changed a lot from the previous year to this year. People from the remote area had difficulties to participate in the sessions. So frequent breakdown were actually breaking the sync down too. But the best part was that we could have these sessions recorded and were uploaded in LMS, that is learning management system for the students, which is available in this NTTF software, and students can access this at any point of time. So although through online teaching, one commonly found issue was the missing connectivity, attention of the students, we weren't always confident if they had learned what we have taught. Although they were producing the favorable results, still heart of hearts wasn't confident. They were getting well trained, but to ensure the input reached to students, we conducted continuous assessments like giving assignments, conducting quiz, rapid fire test, online test, everything. So they also missed the peer-to-peer connection of classroom sessions. It was right, it was unavoidable, but children missed a lot through that. But the children learned to attend the sessions on time. We were not ready to compromise with the current situation and excuses. So we have conducted the online exams to proctoring system. So at the end of this talk, I would like to say that although it was emotionally a tough time for all of us, digital world did make a remarkable boom in the field of education and profession, and we can't deny that. It is like an oxygen for us to survive today. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay Lakshmi, for sharing in detail about how you managed the situation, and when it was like an opportunity in disguise actually to move on to digital ways of learning and digital ways of importantly conducting exams, assessments, and so on. Now we move to the next panel. This is an important panel which is talking about how the situation was being faced by professors at the university level. It's not just college teaching or teaching at the graduation level, but also they are people who are handling research programs and many other higher education programs from CV Raman Global University. So now I welcome a panel of professors from CV Raman Global University, which includes Professor Priyadarshi Kanungo, Dr. M.K. Gopalia, Dr. Rojalina, Mr. Rajat Kumar Samantare, and Mr. Ambika Prasad Mohanty in this order. So these professors will be touching upon few very important aspects like importance of practical training in higher education courses and at the university level, that is, and how these are integrated with the industry, and how delivering a holistic program which includes future skills is very important, and how teachers can prepare and upskill themselves for this, and importantly, overcoming challenges in designing and delivering a blended learning program at the university level. So these are the broad areas where these professors will touch upon right now when they tell us their experiences. So I welcome Professor Priyadarshi Kanungo as the first speaker from this panel. So please share your views within 3 to 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam. Respected all panel members. Let me share my 21 years of teaching experience.
Could you please put on video, sir?
Actually, I cannot share my video because of bandwidth problem.
Okay.
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 Okay. I observed that practical learning benefits most of the students in comparison to visual, even oral or verbal, physical or logical learning systems. And nowadays, most of the higher education institute applying for NAC or NBA accreditation process. And if you look into the program outcomes of any program, if you look at, that is basically skill-based outcomes. And that is nothing more than linked to the practical, only practical-based outcomes. So the four major impact of practical learning, which are, if you look at, that is create a deep impact, improved skill sets, and increase students' understanding. And if you look at better knowledge retention. So practical learning is not confined to classroom. It is just applying the skill in a non-classroom environment. While it is important to learn the theory of a topic or subject, getting out and applying the theory to a practical situation enables students to build upon existing skills, such as you can say problem solving. That is the major outcome of any higher education system. So practical learning is an experiential learning. There are some things that need to be experienced, to be understood, and this is true for most subjects. For example, when I was actually initially, when I was a teacher in 2000, actually, I started my career. And at that time, if you look at when I was teaching the image processing, theoretically, I was all the mathematical model, everything. That's a kind of passive learning. And students were not enjoying that. But after my PhD, when I started actually teaching the same subject in a different angle, that, for example, experiential learning I embedded there. I just ask the student, read an image and see what is happening. So it is very easy to understand what is a pixel there. So if you look at but playing with real image to improve its contrast or brightness will give students better understanding of how to deal with the teeny elements of an image, which is pixel, and the best way to do certain tasks. Taking a hands-on approach to learning often results in more ingrained knowledge with the ability to retain information quickly and for long periods of time. The reason being that when learning in a theoretical or text-based style, our brain attends to remember words only. However, when learning in a practical environment, we are remembering actions and scenarios which our brain find easier to retain. We at CGU have introduced experiential learning, case studies, and project-based learning in each and every course. And the hands-on learning and theoretical learning are almost 50-50 ratio. And CGU established 21 top-tier center of excellences in the campus to offer our students the best multidisciplinary practical learning experience to complement their studies. We at CGU offering skill development electives so that the student can choose any one of these top tier COGs based on his or her interest to apply his or her skill in real life problem. So, and I want to say that whatever we are teaching in theoretically, that is in a classroom, that is basically passive learning. And as already most of the speaker already discussed that now we are the facilitators, and that is more tough task. Previously, we are actually sitting in a classroom. Now, evaluation and facilitation is very, very important, and to guide the student in practical learning is very important. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Priyadarshi. Thank you so much for emphasizing on the importance of practical learning and immersive learning and many other aspects of making people do things hands-on and experience it. We move ahead now with Dr. M.K. Gopalia, and I invite him to share his views and his experience on the topics we just mentioned for this panel. Please go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. A very good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you to this interaction, though it is happening one way only, but I hope if somebody wants to come in after that, you can contact me anytime. See, whatever we are doing in an online teaching mode, it was a stopgap arrangement. Something came in front of us suddenly. We were not prepared for that. So don't treat it as a online learning, which we should follow for future as well. Otherwise, the outcome may not be what we're looking for. This is something a stopgap. Now you have to learn how to convert it into a new normal. We are saying that this will become a new normal. So make it a normal thing. It is just a stopgap so much. So blended learning, which is a new concept coming in our NEP 2020, is something which has to be taken quite seriously here. What is the meaning of blended learning? You have to blend the classroom face-to-face interaction with your online interaction digital tool, which we are taking it now just as a stopgap arrangement. Because now we could not meet face-to-face because of the COVID guidelines and all, we are doing that. But since it is going to become a new normal, now blend it properly. There should be some teaching learning activity which should be done in a face-to-face manner. There is no exception to that. And there's something which can be moved towards an online platform and many other digital tool available here. And I could tell you hats off to all the teaching community, what the kind of effort we have done for last 1 year. Even without knowing anything which is coming our way, we have taken it and hold, we can say, open hands and all. And I don't agree with that Google is everything, and because of that, digital teaching has become a challenge for faculty. No, faculty, those are having a knowledge of their area, we don't fear for Google or anything, because books were also there. Even with the books, they need faculty there, because these are information. To convert that information to knowledge, you have to synthesize this information and then converting that knowledge to wisdom. Here the role of faculty comes. We are mentor here, we all agreed, we are talking for last 1.5 hours for that. Now we have become mentor. Yes, you should know how to mentor in this blended mode. There are 2-3 very commonly used blended techniques, which I will say, which is blended online mode, blended face-to-face mode, and a flipped classroom mode. After doing a lot of experience for last 3 semesters on various types of courses, interacting with various groups of faculty here at CGU, what I could say from my experience, blended face-to-face mode is the need of the hour, where we may not allow a larger group to sit in a classroom. So we can go with blended online mode, but there need a weekly face-to-face interaction between faculty and student in a smaller group, which can be we can say problem solving sessions and all, or we can say a debate session, a discussion session and all. It should be in a smaller group, should happen at least once a we complementing what we're doing online. It is good for a UG level teaching. If I say blended face-to-face mode, it should be related to skill, we can say imparting core courses and all. We have a lot of chain of, we can say SD courses here at CGU, where we give our student hands-on experience and all. For that, blended face-to-face is the way, where we give them ample time to be there in the lab, do that hands-on, and the knowledge part, the prerequisite theoretical knowledge, which we transfer it through a, we can say, a synchronized mode of online recorded lectures, some providing them some reading articles and all. It is a blended face-to-face, dominating by face-to-face interaction, hands-on, complemented by something which is provided in a asynchronous. Third comes with the flipped classroom. Flipped classroom is something which is most suitable for a PG and a PhD level courses, where the student is quite, we can say, matured enough, and he or she is there by his or her own choice. He wants to upgrade his knowledge. He wants to add on to what he is already having. So in that flipped classroom knowledge, what we do, we provide them the recorded lectures, maybe the reference of a MOOC course, maybe some research papers in that particular area, and ask that student to come prepared after going through it with their queries and their doubt, and maybe the reflection of what he or she has learned. And then we meet in a class where the faculty is there to mentor them, to just have a debate among them, clarify their doubt, and hear the reflection and give their valuable feedback to that. So this is how we should go ahead. I am totally in full agreement to all of you that our role has changed to become mentored, but doing mentoring in a digital era needs a due diligence of mind, apply all this blended technique, select a most suitable blended technique for a type of course, and then convert this so-called challenge posed to us in the form of an opportunity, and then only we can expect an outcome, and we can aim towards becoming the global leader in the knowledge world and all. This is what my feedback. I am open for any iteration and all that, and it is a learning thing, just like we keep on learning what we are doing in, and after applying for something, if we need a course correction as a faculty, we should always be ready for that. With this, thank you so much. I wish you a very happy Teachers Day in advance. We are a teacher always, and we will remain students as well. Thank you, Dr. Dubey, for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gopalia, for elaborating so very well about the nuances of blended learning. Since we are running short of time, I know we have few more panelists. We decided to extend this by 10 to 15 minutes. I hope it's okay with all of you. So whoever is watching, please stay on till maybe 12:45. We will definitely close around 12:45. Apologies for this small issue that has happened here. But then, as I said, when we speak to teachers and leaders from this community, it's very difficult to, stop at a certain time. But because of several structural problems, because of practical problems, we have to limit it. So now going ahead with the next speaker, that's Professor Rojalina. Please share with us, ma'am, about your experiences and your suggestions to implement technology-enabled education and training and related aspects. I welcome you.
Thank you, Madam Madhuri, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this. So let me share my own experience. When I joined this CGU University in 2006, I was a very young teacher. And you see, after doing my master's on information technology, I had chosen to be a teacher because the objective was to create true engineers, right? So when I joined here, then I gradually interacted with the students. The pain points where they told me like they are lacking some of the skills which are required for them to sit in the placement interviews and to get a good amount of salaried jobs, right? So that's why I thought of like bringing some. So the lacking point is that they are not means they, I can say those are the students, they are lacking practical skills, and we as teachers are also not in a position to give them such skills, because we do have a lot of gaps between our curriculum and the skills what the industry needs. So I requested to our management, and I am quite happy that our management is so open to send us with few of our faculties and me. We have gone to many of the industrial trainings. From there, I personally moved to Bangalore for taking a training on Java, and that is a project-based learning by Wipro. So when I came back and here I practiced all those things, like what they do with Java in corporate, and I tried to explain that in the classroom. Students found it very interesting. And similarly, when we talk about the computer science and IT skills, so these are all like very emerging skills, and the things are changing so suddenly that, and the skill sets are changing so suddenly that we should always be open to be empower ourselves as a faculty so that we can convey the same thing to our students what they want. So if we lack, then our students are not going to be equipped enough for the emerging skills. That's why we had tried to bring some of the future technology like cloud computing, machine learning, cyber security into our syllabus, and we are now trying to have a particular curriculum, 4 years curriculum on these skills only. So in fact, individually, I had got the chance to be a teacher and a trainer both, because I train the students for preparing the hackathons for the skilling competitions, and I found, and I am in charge of the future technology skills, and I found it very interesting to be with the students and sharing the technical knowledge with the students. But one point I must agree with this, I must be agree with that. Always we should be empower ourselves and we should be learning with the students as well, so that we can share our knowledge, the best knowledge to the students, which is going to be needful for them throughout their career. So a teacher is always for his students only. So that's the only point I want to say. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Rojalina. I now welcome Professor Rajat Kumar. So please tell us your views and your experience around the topic that we have decided for CV Raman Global University.
Thank you, ma'am, for the opportunity. Learning new skills can change your life. So with this slogan, we started the World Skill program in our university. So initially in 2018, we have participated in different skills at state level competitions, at journal level competitions, regional and national. In 2019, India had participated in World Skill for the Kazan project in 44 skills. So we were the part of that competitions. So our student, Mr. Aswath Narayan, and myself, we were the part of World Skills Kazan project. So I was the expert for water technology. So India got the first ever gold medal since World Skills has started. So after that, now I am working as an expert for World Skills Shanghai. We are now preparing our students for different competitions in 30 different skills, and also it includes the future of skills like Industry 4.0, mobile application development, robot system integrations, and many more. So World Skill is now is a curriculum in our project. Students, apart from their academics, they're spending 6 hours per week for these competitions, and through competitions they are learning. So learning new skills can change your life. Thank you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. We are very privileged to interact with you and hear from you directly. So for the audience, I would just like to mention again that CV Raman Global University has this unique distinction of getting a gold medal in World Skills Competition for India in water technology, and this is one of the unique universities in India which has really dedicated a lot of time, effort, faculty, and many other resources for training in world skills. Please go to their website or interact with the professors to learn more. You might be really surprised to see how many programs they have and how much of effort is going in to train the students to face these competitions. Thanks again, sir, for sharing your views. I now welcome Professor Ambika Mahanti to share his views.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So good afternoon, everybody. Now I am extend my thanks to Dr. Madhuri Dubey for giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts in this webinar, which is organized on the occasion of the Teachers' Day by National Skill Networks. And a special day, particularly it is dedicated to all the teachers as a mark of honor and appreciations of their special contributions towards the education in India. And I will share some of my thoughts in a nutshell about this requirement of practical training in the engineering course. So I have joined in this organization as assistant professor, having a rich experience of 30 years in different industries. So I know that engineering is an applied science, and practical training, in addition to the academics, in addition to the course curriculum, it addresses the industrial problems and also the reinforce the industry and academia interactions and bridges the gap between the two. Because our course is not designed to meet the challenges of the tomorrow. Gone are those days when the people, the students, those who are getting first class first or they are gold medalists, they were getting jobs. Now those days are already not there. Now you have to acquire some skills in addition to your course, in addition to your theoretical knowledge. So this practical training, definitely it helps a lateral flow of informations between the industry and the institutions. Because just like medical education, there is no internship at all in case of engineering. So this practical training, definitely it helps the students to enhance their knowledge, that prepares them to be fit for the industry, and it all, I can tell it, industry ready professionals. So because as I have worked in industry, so to align the requirements as the industry needs, definitely the practical training cannot be overruled. This practical training, in addition to the practical knowledge also, it develops the interpersonal skills. The students also can learn how to coordinate with the people and how to help them to improve their leadership style. So I can tell in one sentence, the aim of the practical training to help the student to develop their latent hidden, to explore their talents and to explore their and to develop their abilities that support their professional studies and also they prepare for their professional career in subsequently. So it is important to get a hands-on understanding of the subjects which they are studying during their BTech course, and how the theory you learn, it is applied to a real life situations. And that is very, very important. And practical training also allows the students to learn quick adaptations to the needed to meet the daily challenges they will face and the scenarios, and also to have a better understanding of the course topics. So engineering profession, you know, nowadays it has become very, very challenging to stand out in the present scenario and in the present role of the cutthroat competitions, which is now continuing. So one has to be versatile, and he has to be well trained to be a candidate for a highly paid jobs. Unless he acquires a skill in addition to his theoretical knowledge, in addition to his marks secured in the BTech or in diploma. So it is very important to go for practical training in order to gain some knowledge. So I can tell in a nutshell, the practical training, in addition to developing the interdisciplinary knowledge, and also you have to acquire some experience through the industrial exposures. The students can know so how the in the industry is operated, and the SOP, standard operating procedures, which is being followed in different type of industry in the real working environments. Then it develops the interpersonal skills, as I have told you already, and it helps in exploring the area of interest. In a nutshell, the aim of the practical training is to help the students to develop the skills and abilities that support the professional studies and also prepares them to work in their professional careers. So I can give you one example. You imagine someone teaching you in a classroom to swim, or to drive a vehicle within the four walls of a classroom, which is impossible. You have to get into the water to learn swimming, and you have to be definitely out in the roads to learn driving. So some subjects, just as I told you, a very live examples. So you have to learn some subjects, and that's which is skill based and practice oriented. So nowadays the theoretical knowledge will not help you to get a job. So training, teaching and engineering, they are almost skill based. In this practical knowledge is more important than the theoretical knowledge, and theoretical knowledge, as per my opinion, it has no value at all until the students can apply it in the practical purposes. Because when you do something practically, definitely with your own hands, definitely your remembrance is better. Secondly, the practical work encourages self-learning. And we at V Raman Global University, we have developed different type of skills, and our students are really, they are gaining knowledge in the skills. And then we are already, just 1 minute. So in V Raman Global University, in addition to the course curriculum, we have introduced different type of skills, and our students have been already trained, and we have already developed the infrastructure and also all tools, all equipments to have a hands-on training in addition to their course curriculum. And that is helping a lot, and our students have bagged gold medal. As my previous speaker, Mr. Rajat Samantre, he has already told one of our students has bagged gold medal in the world skill competitions in 2019. Recently also, many of our students have already bagged gold medals, silver medals, and I hope also in the coming regional competitions, definitely they will be successful. And last but not the least, I can tell you, to get a job in a coveted organizations, you have to acquire some practical knowledge in addition to your theoretical knowledge. So our country is looking forward to a fast rate of developments, and a new education policy is really on the anvil. And to meet this demand, to meet these objectives, the skill development is a definitely need of the hour, and it is a prerequisite. Skill development can be possible, and if there is a paradigm shift in the present policies and the present practices and technology and engineering educations, and to bridge the gap between the industry and academia. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for putting it so nicely about the emphasis on practical training. I think practical training is the spirit of any vocational or skill-based education, and the way that it is being re-emphasized again and again with so many speakers shows that vocational education and skill-based education and training needs a lot of emphasis on hands-on and manual experience and training. So thank you all. I wish to thank again Professor B.S. Satyanarayana and Dr. Rajesh Khambayat and Mr. Ramanathan and others from NTTF for helping us, organize this through the partnership. Maybe Professor Rajesh Khambayat, any closing remarks you want to share for a minute or so? We are really running short of time, but a closing remark.
I think this is a good tribute we can play to our teachers who have shaped our personality and everything. And I think this seminar and looking at all these things, two important things I will just add on to close my comments on this one. To be a great teacher, I remember one quote, and it says that a mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, but a great teacher inspires. So to become an inspiring teacher, I think there are two important ingredients, rather three ingredients I would say are very vital for every one of us. The first one is the passion. We must be very passionate about what we are trying to do about it. The second important is commitment. There are many ups and downs when you become a teacher. The journey is never smooth. and it's like an emotional roller coaster, I would say, when you join as in the teaching profession. So commitment is very, very important to overcome no matter what comes and the challenges you face. And third, and the last one is the lifelong learner. So to become an inspiring teacher, we need 3 ingredients. You have to be very passionate, commitment, and lifelong learner. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for those wonderful words. I think these are whatever you said is very inspiring for us. So we will definitely take it forward and, put it up as something we should really aspire to learn. A lot of teaching is about unlearning, relearning also. So I think that's what makes us continuous learners. As most of you have said, teachers have to be good learners. And once again, I wish to thank all of you for joining us at a very short notice and organizing this event today on the occasion of Teachers' Day. We again, on behalf of Team NSN, I wish to also thank you once again for the wonderful work that you are doing to contribute towards skilling, towards higher education, and towards technical training. And I also wish to thank all my team members, Sahitya, Pratyusha, Pranati, Rajesh, and Ajay, for helping us organize this at a very short notice. Thanks once again. And thank you all for watching us on YouTube. I just saw that there was a question on YouTube, but I guess the question has been answered through all these speakers. So I would not like to take it again. But in case you want to connect with us, please write to us. And thank you once again, PSSCIVE, Bhopal, V Raman Global University, and NTTF for collaborating with us to organize this event. Thanks again. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.